Dear listeners, feel the real fear with us. Horror stories from all over the country and abroad. Those who have been, are being, or will be involved in today's episode, greetings and love to everyone. I hope everyone is well and healthy. Like every episode, I am with you all to present the events you sent. Let's move on to the next new story. I'm welcoming you again, and now I am going to share an event sent by a person named Carl who lives in Phoenix, Arizona. The event is about his grandfather. The incident happened between 1965 and 1968. So the time period is around that. His grandfather's name was Jack. He was a very brave and honest man, even braver than what we usually think of as a courageous. He was also very strong. There were 6 people in his family, 3 sons, 2 daughters, and his wife. Jack used to fish in a river near their house called Handwash River. During that time, the river had a lot of fish, but now there aren't as many. Jack was a day laborer and he worked all day. At night, he would go fishing. He would then sell the fish in the local market called the Black Market, which is in the Palash area of Arizona. Now let's get to the main story. Jack was the only one earning money for the family. He had to do both jobs, working as a laborer during the day and fishing at night. He had to sell the fish in the market, and it was a very hard job. The family depended only on him for income. His children were small and he had no other choice but to keep working. One night, Jack went fishing as usual. He fished at a place called Bashtala Ghat, which was about a 20-minute walk from his house. This place was known for having a lot of fish at that time. Jack always fished there with his fishing net, which was called a dola. That night, after fishing for a while, Jack noticed something strange. There were no fish in his dola. He thought maybe the fish had jumped up. He was confused and frustrated because he had worked so hard. So he decided to start fishing again. After some time, when he looked at his dola again, there were still no fish. He thought, where are the fish going? He thought maybe they were jumping out, so he decided to keep an eye on the dola. He continued fishing while watching carefully. After some time, when he looked at the dola again, he saw something strange. A very thin, dark, dry hand reached out from behind the bush and grabbed a fish from the dola. Jack was surprised but didn't get scared. He was a brave man and he knew about such things. He waited, pretending to fish while keeping an eye on the hand. If you have courage, come forward. Let's see how brave you are. As soon as he said this, the figure in front of him started to move rapidly, and suddenly a harsh voice echoed from within. You have quite a bit of courage. You think you can face me? Jack felt a bit scared, but since he had already spoken, there was no turning back. He replied bravely, if you are brave enough, come forward. Let's see what happens. The figure then approached quickly, and it was a terrifying sight for Jack. It was a tall figure, almost 12 feet tall, with no face. Instead, there were 2 small cavities where the eyes should be, glowing red. The hair was long and extended far back. The figure's arms were longer than its body. Seeing this, Jack was terrified, but he tried to stay strong. He shouted, you better not mess with me. I have worked hard to catch this fish, and I am not letting you take them. The figure began to laugh loudly in a creepy way. Jack, feeling both fear and anger, replied, I worked hard for this fish. If you don't give them back, I will deal with you. The figure mocked him more, but Jack, determined, said, let's see how strong you really are. A struggle began. Despite the figure's strength, Jack didn't back down. After a while, Jack managed to hold on to the figure, not allowing it to escape. The figure begged Jack to let it go, offering to return everything it had taken. Jack finally agreed, but his anger didn't calm down completely. He warned the figure that if it didn't give back the fish, he would use a fishing rod to punish him. The figure replied that it had eaten all the fish, but Jack didn't believe it. It promised to try and return them by diving into the river. After a few moments, the figure came out of the water with a big fish, followed by two more. It handed the fish over to Jack, saying, "Here, take them. There's more where this came from." Jack was satisfied, but told the figure, "I'm leaving now. Stay away from this place." If you have any such miraculous and scary incident, you can send it to thehorrorstories@yahoo.com, and we will try to read the story in the next episode.